Hello to everyone out there. It's a new channel that I have. It's going to be information for the Whittaker family. I've been following the Whittakers for a long time, starting with with Mark and before and the documentaries and everything. And I find everything very interesting. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm not going to be going in order or anything of the family. Most of you already know all the history and everything. I will make some videos talking more, describing more about the family for people that's never heard or know anything about the Whittakers. But I just had to start making some videos to give my 2 cents and to try to give as much insight as I can to everyone. Any information that I get or find out, I'm going to be putting and posting on here so everyone can get good updates. But starting with last night, yesterday evening, I don't really know how I feel about the Whittakers with Timmy and Lorraine and Ray getting taken away. In a way, honestly, I feel like it's a very good thing because you could see that they were not getting the proper care that they needed. And before I even go into that, I'm giving a big shout out to Eric Carroll. That man, he's totally legit. I'm good at telling things about people and reading people, and I could totally read that he is a legit, really great man, really good guy. And he already had a big following before all of this. He's helped a lot of people in his life, and he is a great man. I could tell just, he's done a lot of stuff for people. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. None of us are perfect. We've all made mistakes somewhere in our life. Now, I don't really know a lot about his history, but, I'm not trying to say the man's a saint. He probably isn't. None of us are. But I will say, from what I've seen with the Whittakers, this man people have to stop and think for a minute. This man is away from his family. I have a family. I don't even want to be half a day away from my family. I wouldn't have it in me to do what he does. He goes weeks away from his family. He goes around these people that have zero hygiene. And he's been sick 2 or 3 times already. He has to worry that, hey, he could bring sickness back to his family. He's risking his family's health in a way, his health and his family's health going around these people. And, I'm not trying to sit here and just seriously judge, but let's call it what it is. Look at that house. I know that they're mentally challenged, they're mentally off, incest, inbred, whatever. But look at the house. If you were to look up, just pure white trash in the dictionary, that would be the house. I'm not saying that they're white trash. Some of them are. But the ones, Ray, Lorraine, Timmy, they can't help it. They have the minds of a young child. They're probably, 5 to 7 years old mentally. So it's not on them for that house looking like that. Betty and Larry are the 2 most normal ones. I blame them for the way that house looks. They are the ones that could have taking some order. And the reason I'm saying Larry, I know he hasn't lived there the entire time, but he could have took some initiative, since he is living there. He could have moved, in, and
there are other teachers there on their break.
He could have done something about it. Betty's been there the entire time. And I'm just saying this, if Betty knows that she had a lot on her plate and she couldn't keep that house clean, or not even clean, just not looking like it does, she should have got some help for them. Why has there not been caretakers? Why have they not had, the government step in and help? I mean, no one should live in that kind of condition. No one. I mean, I've seen some dirty houses in my life. I've seen some dirt poor people in my life. I've never seen a house look like that. And I mean, for those of you who haven't seen a lot of the Whittakers, just go watch some of the videos, just random videos. For one, I'm pretty certain their toilet doesn't work. They have no plumbing. So there is a bucket or 2 buckets, whatever, just full of toilet paper. I mean, feces all around the bucket. No hands, nothing, no hand soap in the house. I mean, there's no hand washing. I mean, it's unreal how the lack of hygiene. I mean, I don't even know how to even describe it. I wouldn't even say lack of hygiene. I mean, there's obviously no hygiene. It's the most filthiest thing I've ever seen. I mean, you could get a panic attack watching their videos, seeing the conditions inside of their home. I couldn't imagine going inside there. I would not go inside there. And I'm not trying to be mean or judgmental, but let's call it what it is. I mean, it's trashy. And Betty could communicate, Larry could communicate. Why have they not done anything all these years about the condition of that house? Why would Ray be going around with crap all over his shirt, running down his pants? I mean, I understand, Eric's there, but it's not Eric's job to be taking care of them, like, wiping their butt, making sure Ray had. I mean, Eric's done everything he could, But anyhow, about the video last night, them getting taken away. Honestly, in my opinion, that's the best thing right now. You can't have people like Ray running around, sitting and living, sleeping in his own feces. I mean, pee and crap all over his shirt, his pants. I mean, that's horrendous. Nobody should have to live like that. That is not a way for anybody to have to live. And look at, the thing is you have that snake, Larry, going around, bumming around. And, the whole thing about his daughter, it's just total BS. They should have got a restraining order, to be honest, with that whole bunch. She doesn't need to come around. Larry doesn't need to come around. If her sons are with her, they don't need to become. That whole bunch right there, they're cancerous. And there's a reason that she came out and said that she was going to tell on Larry. I feel like there's a reason he is bowing down to her. There's something that he's done. I really believe there's something that he's guilty of, and they don't want it out. He doesn't want it out. And, there's no doubt. She's a junkie. she needs to be in jail. You know, she had her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever allowed them to go beat up on Ray and Timmy and Lorraine. You know, they always, you'd see little bruises on them. And before we heard all this, we didn't really think too much of it. But like Timmy having, you know, a knot up on top of his head. You know, apparently she went over there and beat him with some shoes. Apparently her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, whatever, apparently he was going over there beating up on Ray. And apparently Betty, see, here's the thing about Betty. I don't really know if I can blame her too much. I don't know. Because I feel like she was getting threatened by BJ and her boyfriend. Maybe the sons. It's funny how they all ended up with a lot of new stuff once that money came out. You know, I'm pretty sure all that money went to those four, with Larry, BJ, and her sons. And I mean, there needs to be some investigating going on. I really believe that there needs to be investigations going on, and there needs to be some people going to jail. Worst case, you know, worst case scenario, BJ needs to be in jail. At least BJ. They need to check on Larry. I believe there's something going on there. And I believe that he's taking money. He's in on it. And I think that I don't want to hear Betty crying and whining about this with this poor old me thing. Because here's the deal. She could have prevented all this. All she had to do was let Eric know, hey, BJ's coming over here. And Eric could have taken care of it. Instead, she lied to Eric, just like she lied to Mark before. She sat there and lied, telling him she don't know what's going on. I don't know. You know, it's so for her to do that, knowing that BJ's a bad person, a person that stole from them, a person that has taken money from them and has allowed her and her boyfriends, whatever. I mean, I'm sure a woman like her, she's probably got several boyfriends. You know, I mean, just look at her. You know, she allows God knows who to go over there and rough them up and take money from them. Betty should have known not to let her back over there. And if Larry's threatening her, Betty should have told Eric, hey, you know, I'm getting threatened here. I mean, Betty's smarter than what people are giving her credit for. Yes, I understand she's inbred. I mean, I understand she's a little off. I mean, they're going to be a little off. But she's not as off as the rest of them. I mean, she's the smartest one out of the bunch. And for her to be able to sit there and play this like she don't know better, she does know better. All she had to do was tell Eric. Eric would have put a stop to all this. And again, like I've been saying, props to Eric. I mean, that guy has went above and beyond. And just as Mark did before, Mark put a lot of time in, raised a lot of money for them. Eric's used money out of his pocket, folks. You know, he's used money out of his own pocket. So, with that being said, I gave my opinion. I believe they're better off right now. What I want to happen is I would love for the state, CPS, whoever, to take a look at the situation and to make a deal with Eric. You know, he was getting them a big $500,000 house built. I mean, most of us don't even have homes that are $500,000. And they were fixing to go from one of the worst shacks in America to a $500,000 home. What I would love to see is the state to make a deal with him, with Eric. and to say, look, build the house. They could give Eric custody of Timmy, Lorraine, and Ray. I would build a house for those three. And somehow give them some kind of caretaker, something. Maybe they could hire somebody to look over them because Eric's not going to be able to be there all the time. Or hey, maybe Eric could get the house built in his hometown and then he could be there with them all the time. But, something's going to happen. But here's the deal. I really do not want Betty or Larry allowed in that house. Because wherever they go, you can bet that crackhead is going to go with them. Her sons, whoever is going to show up over there. And, maybe, I know the state can't offer security and all that stuff, but maybe with, money being donated, maybe the government money could help. Maybe they could have somebody that could just maybe move in with them to keep an eye on them, to let Eric know what's going on. Maybe they can get somebody free room and board to stay over there so they can let Eric know what's going on when he's not there. It'd be like a little security. They could they could get a restraining order on Betty. And here's the thing about Betty, like I said, I don't know. But the thing is she does lie, and I can't trust her. And maybe she doesn't need to be around them. But at least Larry and BJ and her sons, they don't need to be over there. So they need to get restraining orders on all of them. And the government can, let them live there and have a caretaker. Like I said, they can maybe let somebody move in over there, free room and board, just to be able to keep an eye on them and give word back to Eric. Something like that's got to happen. If not, maybe he can get custody of them and move them and get a house built where he lives and move them in over there on his property or something like that. But I definitely wouldn't, unless it's something like that, I would not relinquish them. I would keep them in protective services, custody, whatever. They need to be somewhere where they can be taken care of. They need a caregiver. Betty's not a caregiver. She might feed them, but she obviously doesn't take care of them. I mean, look at Ray. Is that taking care of somebody? Whenever video, he's walking around with crap all over his shirt. His hands, that's disgusting. He needs a caregiver. His knee, his knee it's just horrendous. And gosh knows how it's ended up getting hurt like that. One of BJ's boyfriends might have kicked him in the knee a bunch of times. Timmy, in the video with Eric going over there, Timmy was looking and pointing. And Ray was going off. Like, he was going off twice as much as he normally does in the background. You could tell that they were trying to alert Eric that BJ was over there. And then for that snake in the grass, Larry, and for Betty to sit there and lie and say, I don't know what's going on. You did know what's going on. And I don't blame Eric. Honestly, I wouldn't blame Eric from just walking away totally. It's sad about Timmy. Maybe he can get custody of Timmy. But, it's just, they can't go back to where they were. They can't go back to that situation. They can't live in that filth. They need to just tear that house down. They say, oh, well, there's history in the house and stuff like that. What history? We're going to talk about inbred history. We're going to talk about, the houses. It's historical. It's historical for really bad reasons. It's a really bad, sad story. But I hope and pray that Timmy, Lorraine, and Ray get the help they need, which they will as long as they're in protective custody. They need to get the help they need. And that's leading to my next thing I'm going to be talking about, and that's Patrick O'Rourke. Here's the thing. I don't know him personally. He does seem like he legit cares, and I know there's a lot of mixed feelings with people about him right now. I could say he doesn't seem like a bad guy. I could say that, he does seem like he cares, especially about Timmy. And, but there's a lot of things, there's a lot of questions to be answered. One, where has he been this entire time? Like, there was no mention of him. He never came around for all those years. So why is he just now just going to come around? He lives up the road. Why would it, he hasn't been gone for years or anything like that. Why is he just now coming around? It's one thing I wonder. Another thing, yes, he has a big rap sheet. And thing is, criminals are going to take up for other criminals. People with rap sheets, to make themselves feel better, they're going to take up for other people with rap sheets. That's just how it is. So there'll be a lot of people, if you read their comments, there's a lot of people that take up for Patrick when it comes to his rap sheet. But if you just look at them, they're criminals too. They're bad people. You have a lot of people taking up for him because they have rap sheets. And I think that's, thing is he does have apparently a sexual assault on his rap. That's a big problem that I have. I understand people do things in life, to get in trouble. You get in fights. We've all been in fights. We've all had fights. Some of us have had fights, where we didn't get caught. We could have easily got caught. We didn't. So we could all have a little bit of a rap sheet, honestly. But when it comes to something like sexual assault, that's where I draw the line. I don't know the whole story behind it, but I do know he does have something like that on his record. And for him to be taking Timmy to like a Victoria's Secret store, and, that's not a good look. Especially from a guy that has sexual assault charges. He makes a lot of sexual gestures and little innuendos with Timothy, with Timmy throwing panties and throwing panties around and stuff like that, throwing bras at him, trying to say he's going to go out and get Timmy some, stuff like that. That's not the way you need to be talking to the mind of a 7-year-old. I understand Timmy's in his 40s, but we're talking about a custody thing here. We're talking about the state making decisions. So for Patrick to say, well, I'm going to go get custody, they're not going to give him any kind of custody, first of all. With a rap sheet as big as his, with a sexual assault in there, with them having, seeing the videos, you could bet they've watched these videos. They know stuff that's going on. I believe that's what got it tipped off to begin with, is all the stuff on the videos. And that's not a good look for you to have a video with a handicapped, mentally challenged, somebody with a 7-year-old mind going around Victoria's Secret, showing them, sexual stuff, talking sexual. That's not a good look, especially when you do have that rap sheet he has. And Also there's more stuff coming out from Eric where Patrick apparently was going around scamming old ladies in town. There was one old lady, apparently Patrick scammed her out of $1,200. I mean, come on, man. You can't be that way and think that you're going to get any kind of custody. If they were to give custody to Patrick, they would, that would not be as good as them just staying in the institute and getting their proper care. Patrick can't take care. Patrick barely is taking care of himself. How's he going to take care of them? The whole time, Ray's around, running around. Patrick's not trying to help him. Patrick's not the one that was taking him for the knee. Like I said, I think Patrick's not a bad guy. I think he means well. He's just, he can't take care of them. Definitely not take care of them as well as Eric could. And why hasn't Patrick done anything about BJ? Why hasn't he? He's right there. He's not in Georgia like Eric is. Why hasn't Patrick went over there and been a man about, I'm not saying he has to go attack anybody, but he could have went over there and threatened BJ and her sons and, said, hey, you're not coming back over here no more, stay off. He's a big guy. He hasn't thrown any of that weight around. He doesn't seem like he cares either. And honestly, he's gained a ton of followers since he's linked up with Eric. And in a way, I feel like Patrick could be exposing them to try to benefit himself. I really believe that. I can see that. Eric already had tons of followers. Eric's already got his own thing going on. He didn't have to do this. As a matter of fact, I believe Patrick asked Eric to help him with this. So, people out there that wants to play the blame game, you definitely can't blame Eric for anything. And then there's people out there, I'm going to say idiots for saying this. There's people out there that said the video shouldn't have been, Eric shouldn't have shown the video with BJ. Really? There's actually people dumb enough. I know maybe they're not in the most educated area for sure, but a lot of these people aren't from there. So there's no excuse for being this dumb. But there's people that are dumb enough to make the comment that Eric shouldn't have posted the video with BJ in the camper. And they're saying that was the final straw because the services had made the comment on the video that Patrick posted that they came back to get him because BJ was around. So people are saying Eric shouldn't have posted that video. So you're saying instead of Eric posting a video with the truth that's going on, that he should have just kept it quiet, not posted a video, and maybe who knows what happens next time. BJ and her, Taco Cabana boyfriends, whatever, who knows what they could do next time. They might go over there and, they might have went over there and killed one of them. They already beat them up. They beat them before. And Betty even went and told the police that it happened. So they're watching this video and seeing that they're still allowing them over there. The government's doing what they feel is best for this family. Ray, Lorraine, and Timmy, they're taking them. And that's definitely not on Patrick. Patrick posted the video. That don't have nothing to do with, that's not his fault. So don't say Patrick shouldn't have, posted the video or ratted or anything. I believe if I was Patrick, I would have called. I would have called on him as soon as I saw BJ. I would have, if he truly cares about, their safety, he did the right thing. Where they're at, you don't have to worry about, some guy. He's possibly an illegal too. That's another thing. Some guy coming over there and hurting one of them. Or BJ going over there. I mean, also, you know how these crackheads are. Those crackheads, they're liable to do anything. I mean, they'll kill somebody in their family for $5 or $10. So Eric's definitely not the one to blame for this. I blame Betty and Larry and BJ and that whole clan Larry's clan. Now, I haven't mentioned Kenny. Kenny has pretty much stayed out of all this stuff going on. But, he has to know what's going on, too. Why has he never spoke up? And people say, oh, well, it's a family matter or whatever. Okay, well, I guess it's a family matter when, your family's getting beat. You don't go speak up on them. I mean, blood's thicker than water, but it's not that thick. And, I'm not even getting into it on this video, but I mean, there's just so much speculation going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just, obviously, Lorraine was raped, and that's how she had Timmy. And, I mean, I don't know why they can't go do some DNA tests. I believe the government should do that. I believe they should go take DNA tests and find out who Timmy's dad is. Because, I believe there's a lot of foul play still going on with that family. In my opinion, Larry did something to BJ for her to be able to hold all this over his head. Whether he raped her or still does, I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on with those two. And, obviously, in the past, they've kept it in the family. I mean, maybe they still do. And I know a lot of people won't come out and say it, but, man, Kenny sure does look like Timmy. They sure have a heck of a resemblance. Why can't the government make them have DNA tests and see if possibly he's the one that raped Lorraine? I mean, she was raped. They're not around a lot of people. I mean, for the best of my knowledge, they're only around each other. I believe she was raped by somebody in her family. And I mean, poor old Timmy. I mean, Timmy's just, I feel so bad for him. He's had to live his whole life around all that. He should have been taken away at a young age. Somebody should have been able to took him and gave him the care he needed. Ray, I mean, there's so much stuff to leave a bad taste in your mouth with this. Like I said, unless Eric can get them in that house and get restraining orders on all the rest, I hope the state keeps them. I hope they keep Timmy and Lorraine and Ray. It sucks we won't be able to see them anymore on videos and know what's going on with them, but I'm sure, there's a way people can send them letters and stuff like that up to wherever they're going to be. And, all we can do is pray for this family. And honestly, I pray for justice too. I pray that these bad people connected with all this get their justice. I pray that BJ goes to jail. If her sons and whoever these boyfriends are, they need to get punished for whatever they did also. If her sons aren't involved, then that's fine. I don't know. They have to know what's going on too. So if not, fine. But if they're involved too, everybody needs to go to jail for all this. There needs to be a lot of people getting in trouble. Larry needs to be checked out. They need to see what he's done, what he knows. There's some fraud. It sounds like there's a little bit of fraud of an action going on there. So I think the government needs to come in and just really look at all this situation. And somebody needs to pay for some of this stuff that's went on. But anyhow, I am going to be posting a lot of videos with updates on the Whittakers. Like and subscribe if you'd like to get all my videos. I'd love to hear, everybody's comments on this. I know this is a hot topic. I'm going to remain anonymous for right now anyways. I'm just trying to put information out. I just want to see people, get more exposure to the Whittakers, for the truth to be out there. That's another thing too, is I'm going to just post the truth. There's not going to be any sugarcoating. Anything I find out, I'm going to post. And it doesn't matter, good or bad, I'm going to post it. And there's a lot of people looking into things right now. There's a lot of stuff being looked at that maybe you won't see with Eric or with Patrick's stuff. The government is looking into some things. So any information I get, I'm going to post it. So like and subscribe, get all my information. I hope you all have a great day, and God bless America.